South of the Caribbean Sea is the portion of South America which includes the republics of Colombia and Venezuela and the colonies of British, Dutch, and French Guiana. Bordering these countries on the south are Ecuador, Peru, and Brazil. In Colombia, the great Andean mountain system divides into three ranges: the western, the central, and the eastern Cordilleras. The latter continues across Venezuela. Eastward are the Guiana highlands, a low plateau. In the center are the llanos, or plains of the Orinoco River system, and to the north, the Caribbean lowlands, hot and humid. The plateau lands of the interior have a more pleasant climate, and it was upon the plateaus that most of the aboriginal people of the region lived. Today, the descendants of these Indians cultivate crops in settled farm areas and dispose of their surplus in local village markets. The Indians were conquered by the Spanish during the 16th century. Columbus explored the Caribbean coasts in 1502. Balboa and Pizarro followed, and in 1511 colonies were established at Darien and Colon. From Panama, Pizarro began the conquest of Peru to the south. Shortly afterward, the northern coast was settled. Cumana, founded in 1520, was the first of many permanent settlements. Indian legends of treasure led explorers into the interior. In 1536, Quesada traveled up the Magdalena River and founded Bogota. Spain ruled the lands for 3 centuries, and then, led by Simón Bolívar, the dissatisfied colonists set up the republics of Venezuela and Colombia. Britain, France, and Holland consolidated their control over Guyana. Intermingling of Indians and Spaniards has resulted in descendants of mixed blood called mestizos. Negroes, first imported for labor 3 centuries ago, lived principally in coastal areas. Gold, early sought by Spanish conquerors, is today mined in the rugged Andes, particularly in the Cauca and Atrato valleys. Gold is third in value among exports. Most of the labor in these operations is furnished by Negroes. Agriculture is first in importance on the plateau. Coffee flourishes especially well, and today is the most valuable single farm product, a leading factor in the economy of both Colombia and Venezuela. Coffee is produced throughout the mountains, sometimes on small farms such as this one, but for the most part on large plantations operated by tenants and hired laborers, mostly mestizos or Europeans. Coffee production and marketing engage a large percentage of the people. In export value, coffee ranks second only to petroleum. In lower valleys, cacao is a leading crop, particularly in the Cauca Valley of Colombia. Most of it is processed in industrial cities nearby. Sugarcane is grown in the tropical valleys below the coffee and cacao. Cane products rank high in economic value. In the same humid tropical areas, banana culture has been introduced successfully, as in the West Indies and in Central America. Modern methods have greatly increased the value of the banana crop. Some cotton is grown in these same low valleys. The land is well suited to raising tobacco and corn and other food crops. The narrow, wooded Magdalena River Valley is less productive. It sustains some inhabitants, mostly Negroes, on small farms. Down to the Magdalena, however, go products from the interior for transshipment to outlet ports, and it is by way of the Magdalena that import products are received. Thus, the Magdalena River Highway is vital to inter-valley trade among cities otherwise isolated. Seaports on the Caribbean handle the commerce of these inland cities. So too, northeastward in Venezuela, our principal inland cities with seaports of entry and exit. To the south and east of the productive mountain areas lie the llanos, or plains of the Orinoco River Basin, and the Guiana highlands. The state of Bolivar is the most favored part of the llanos for stock raising. Herds of cattle thrive on the long, wild grasses. The cattle industry has been important here since Spanish colonial days. Cattlemen drive their herds to cities where they are sold for meat and for hides, which supply tanneries and shoe factories with raw leather. Sometimes the cattle are taken by Orinoco River boat to coastal cities for slaughter. The lower llanos, inhabited mostly by Indians, are unfavorable because of the tropical climate with torrential rains and floods, followed by droughts that destroy pasturage. South of the Orinoco, extending to the great Amazon basin, are the wooded Guiana highlands. They are as yet virtually undeveloped. Here are to be had some of the finest tropical timber in the Caribbean region. Cabinet woods such as mahogany are plentiful. Among other products is balata, a gummy substance used extensively in making wire insulation. Gold is the most important mineral of the highlands. There are also iron, bauxite, and diamonds. These products go to Ciudad Bolivar, principal port on the Orinoco. Many scattered parts of the coast are low and tropical. Most sugar cane as well as cotton is grown in the lowlands at the mouth of the Magdalena and Cauca rivers. Some is grown also in the coastal regions of the three Guianas. Petroleum is by far the richest product of the lowlands. It is found in abundant deposits mainly around Lake Maracaibo in Venezuela, in Trinidad, and in Colombia. Thousands of wells along the northern and northwestern coast give Venezuela third place among oil-producing nations of the world. The crude oil is sent through pipelines to loading ports, from whence most of it goes to Curaçao and Aruba in the Dutch West Indies to be refined. Thus, this region produces a wide variety of materials: coffee, cacao, and mixed farm crops, cattle and hides, forest products, sugarcane, bananas, and cotton, petroleum and asphalt, gold, platinum, and gems. Products from the interior go to Bogota, Medellin, and Manizales in Colombia, Valencia and Caracas in Venezuela. These inland cities are important not only as jobbing centers, but as manufacturing points where raw materials such as cotton are processed. These products supply chiefly local needs such as dresses and hosiery. Hides from the hinterland here are transformed into saddles and other leather goods. Connecting these widely separated cities are lines of transportation. Rivers, the earliest mode of travel here. Then mountain trails, some now made over into truck highways. Railway lines, most of them short, connecting some centers. And finally, air transportation, which in recent years has contributed more than any other factor to the development of the region. By these transportation links, the inland centers are joined to the seaport cities. Out from these coastal cities go exports of the region, destined mostly for the United States and Europe. Through these ports and over the same interior routes are received, mainly from the United States, machinery, automobiles, instruments, foodstuffs, textiles, and chemicals for distribution throughout the region. In inland cities such as Bogota, capital of Colombia, modern economic growth is combined with cultural heritage handed down from the early Spanish conquerors. Caracas, the Venezuelan capital, although modern and progressive, likewise retains much of the old Spanish culture. In the seaport cities of the Caribbean, such as Barranquilla and Cartagena, There, too, is an atmosphere reminiscent of the Spanish Main amid modern business activities. Commerce typical of a progressive South American region, sharing in a program of cooperation with other regions of a modern world.